Can the Maple Leafs get their revenge on Boston tonight? We'll find out. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. Thank you for making us a daily listen, and thank you for making Locked On, the Locked On Network, the #1 sports podcast network in North America. Big time goal that we as a company have reached recently. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Dave, how we doing today, pal?
Doing pretty good, just kind of have to take a bit of a breath after. I mean, man, some of the talk since the weekend.
Some angry Leaf fans out there. Some angry Leaf fans.
I have an uncle who says he's not watching this team until they start playing actual hockey again.
Yeah, I get the same. My Uncle Chris says that every single year. But that's the same guys who are both probably stoked about the Ryan Reeves signing. I know my uncle was, and that didn't turn out so well, right?
And my uncle wasn't too happy with that one. He fell in line with what with your thinking.
Well, and it turned out to not be the correct decision, but he's no longer there, so that doesn't matter. But the Leafs, they have a chance to get back on track tonight. Bit of a revenge game. Now they got beat in Toronto by the Boston Bruins this past weekend. Now they go back into Boston this weekend to try and get a win at TD Garden. I mean, Dave, when you watch back that game, you think back to how it all went down. Like, what do they got to do better tonight so that they don't have the same result from Saturday?
Stop beating themselves. Like, there's just a lot of, like, you look at the first two goals. First off, first two goals were on the first two shots of the game.
Yeah.
Let's settle into the game a little better, right? But, like, one of the goals, I thought the Leafs was trying to give up a one-time opportunity in front of their own net. Like, just bad passes that land on the opponent's stick, and it's an easy scoring opportunity. Like, you can't be giving up. You can't be giving extra opportunities. You have to make your opponent work for it more.
Yeah.
And like, that's the issue right now, is it's become too easy for the Leafs opponent right now.
Yeah, very simple. They're out there picking daisies while their opponents are working and outworking and out hustling and out battling, out maneuvering, out, winning puck battles. We saw it in both the games over the weekend. And, the coach came out yesterday after the loss to Carolina and said, we're simply not committed to playing defense right now. And I would imagine that has to be a focus tonight is to play strong defensively. We don't need any cheating for offense, right? No one leaves the zone until the Maple Leafs have possession of the puck and maybe even until the first pass is made. Like, that's what I would tell my team. No one leaves the zone until we know that first pass was made, and then we can get going because it's at least halfway up the ice at that moment. That would be kind of my speech, and that's what I would tell the guys. Like, we are committing 100% to playing defense tonight, and it's not just the defensemen, it's the forwards too, going back, help, support, be that outlet pass. Again, much easier to make a 5-10 foot pass than it is a 30-40 foot pass. So that would be something that they certainly should do, should cut down on the turnovers as well by doing it that way, just giving yourself, an easier play to make, the simple play, as opposed to the long stretch pass. But ultimately, like, you're right. Like, they just have to defend, man. Like, they just have to defend. You look at it, like, they've given up, 30 plus scoring chances in both of the games over the weekend. Like, that can't continue at all. So defending is definitely going to be the one thing that I think we're going to be watching this team. That's what Craig Berube is going to need from his boys tonight.
Yeah, I mean, man, you don't see Craig Berube. He tries to keep a very even keel on the bench. That would, like, for the most part, unless you catch him, but like, he was visibly pissed off, right? And not even when a goal was scored. Breakaway was given up, and he's given the, I won't say it because can't say it, but he's showing he's just showing that there's a lot of frustration because he knows the team shouldn't be making these mistakes.
Right.
Now, there are certain players right now that I feel that aren't playing up to snuff, and unfortunately, injuries have also played a factor in who's on the ice right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you do wonder if there's going to be at some point bigger messages start to get sent. Like, we haven't seen Craig Berube done what he did in St. Louis to the degree of
benching guys,
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't always work. Like Calgary did that with a bunch of their players recently.
Mm-hmm.
Louis did it again.
Yeah,
but
I think Kyrou sat for a game, didn't he?
Kyrou did sit for a game. If
he sat Michelli for a game, like whether or not that was
that one, okay.
It's a 50-50 call. Like, he wasn't playing well. Maybe it was a message, but also it was like, we want to get a new mix in there. So I guess that's not it.
You said one of your defensemen, right?
That haven't been playing well. Talking Brandon Carlo, like, is that the name that's poking around in your head right now?
That's
like,
the one I've been hearing so much about.
Yeah,
him and Phil Myers.
Sit back for a shift. The problem is, like, who's going to give you better minutes?
Yeah,
right. Like, the depth isn't there with Chris Tanev out. There's no depth on the right side. Like, that's the biggest issue with them. Now, McCabe has played the right side before, so you could, I guess, if you wanted to, like, sit Carlo and then McCabe flips over. You could have Riley McCabe as a pairing, as a duo, or Oiella McCabe as a duo, and have him play the right side. It's something we've seen in the past, but it doesn't seem like they're very, reluctant to do that. But you're right. Like, hey, maybe that's what they need, a little accountability. That was the word that was brought. That was the buzzword when he was brought in here to be the coach of the Maple Leafs was, he'll bring that accountability. Well, I think that the team needs it right now. They need a little bit of a wake-up call after the weekend we just saw. I mean, you can't go and give up 30-plus scoring chances in back-to-back games and expect for there not to be any consequences if you're the coach, right? So, yeah, we'll see tonight. They got to buckle down and commit to playing on the defensive side of puck. If that means winning a 2-1 hockey game, so be it, right? Win the game 2-1. Just win the game. Win the game and play at your best. That's what I think the Maple Leafs need to do tonight. Let's take a quick break, Dave. We'll come back. We'll preview the matchup. We'll take a look at the matchup breakdown. We'll take a look at the lines, our players to watch, and keys to the game. And a massive meeting was held in Toronto today regarding the Canadian Olympic team. Is John Tavares on the radar? We'll get into that conversation also next on the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. The NHL is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Network. Even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score the next goal to third period comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It even keeps the game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets for your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Network. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, with 5 days a week worth of episodes, all Leafs, all the time, available wherever you get your podcasts and also on YouTube. The Maple Leafs with a game tonight. They travel to Boston after the Bruins beat them in their own barn the other night, trying to get revenge tonight in Beantown at TD Garden, a place that has not been all that nice to Toronto over the years. There's obviously the playoff upsets over the years and many of regular season losses as well. But let's take a look at the matchup preview for tonight's game and kind of see, to this point, we're nearing the quarter mark of the season, where both teams are at statistically to this point. I know the Maple Leafs, after back-to-back losses, just one game above 500 at 8-7-1. The Bruins ahead of them in the standings now, 10-7 on the year. And a big part of this is the Leafs, their lack of power play and penalty kill success. And the fact that they can't stop pucks going into the back of the net, 3.75 goals allowed per game. That's the third highest mark in the NHL. And Boston, they can score a little bit. They've got some players who are putting the puck in the net. We know David Pastrnak can score. We know Morgan Geekie can score as well. So that to me is going to be a key tonight to watch. Make sure that you limit those guys and limit that line. That I think is going to be one of the keys for tonight, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, like 5-on-5, the Leafs were doing some good things against Boston offensively. We've seen them play a lot better 5-on-5, right, in terms of their production. But they're still, again, making mistakes and giving Boston opportunities. Like, this isn't a Boston team that's generating as much as what the Leafs are, right, at 5-on-5. So, and defensively, they're giving up a good amount of goals. I mean, the Leafs are giving up more, right? But they're like the Leafs are not helping themselves in a lot of these cases. Like, I think Boston, they're doing a lot better than I expected, but it also helps that you have a David Pastrnak, right? They still have some decent players. It's just like if you look at the whole of the team, the depth just isn't there. But the Bruins have clearly just decided we're going to play that old school Bruins style hockey, and if it works, it works.
Well, it's just been a very it's been a tale of two halves, I guess, type of thing. Like they've been very streaky, very streaky. Like they were 3-0 to start the season. I think they dropped like 7 in a row after that, or 7 of 8 after that. But they've now rattled off 6 in a row. They've won 6 straight games, with obviously their last one being against the Maple Leafs. So they've had a couple days off in between their last game here against Toronto, where the Leafs had to go and play Carolina. So you're taking on a red hot Boston Bruins team here, right? 6 straight wins, and they've all been relatively tight. They haven't been blowing anyone out of the water. They've got a couple OT wins. They won in a shootout. Only 2 of those 6 have been by more than a goal. So the Bruins aren't blowing teams away. They're keeping the games close, so Toronto can make sure they keep it close. And then when those opportunities arise for them to strike, they finish. The Nylanders, the Tavares, the Knies, the Matthews of the world get that offense, and they should be able to compete here. I mean, on paper, I think Toronto's the better team. Boston's been performing better, and comes down to the compete level. Comes down to the E word, effort. And Boston put in more effort, and they competed harder on Saturday. The Maple Leafs got to do the same this weekend, in tonight's game, if they want to come out on the other side of things. Let's take a look at the Bruins lineup for tonight's game. Bruins or Leaf first? Bruins first. All right. So Morgan Geekie with Marek Kuznetsov and David Pastrnak. Yeah, Victor Arvidsson with Pavel Zacha and Alex Steeves. Maybe a revenge game for Alex Steeves tonight. Tanner Jeannot, Fraser Minton, and Mark Kastelich. Mikey Eisenmont, Sean Corrali, and Jeffrey Vale as the forward group. Dave, what's the defensive core look like tonight for Boston?
Yeah, so you got Zadorov, who's going to probably be looking to do what he did against the Leafs again. Just that big physical style, get in the mix there with Charlie McAvoy. You got Elias Lin, you got Hampus Lindholm. I always get him and Elias mixed up. Hampus Lindholm in Morgan Peak. You got Lohrei and Yoki Haru, who made a really nice play against Domi in that in the game. Like, it's interesting. Like this, other than like that top pairing of Zadorov and McAvoy, this isn't exactly your Bruins big bad Bruins style blue line, but it's worked for them in some
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, obviously there's no Zdeno Chara, right? Like that's massive. He's in the Hall of Fame now. But I still like that blue line. I mean, they're big and they're mean and they're tough. Like Andrew Peak and Zadorov are 2 big dudes. McAvoy is a tough customer. Like we've known that for years, right? McAvoy's a tough dude. So, and then there's a lot, now you got me saying Elias Lindholm. Hampus Lindholm was a pretty good player, and Mason Lohrei, young up and coming defenseman for the Bruins. So it's a good defensive group, and obviously they're just going to try and outwork you, and they're going to make it very difficult for you to win puck battles in the corner, and they're going to make it very difficult for you to set up shop in front of the goalie And that's ultimately, when they're succeeding, that's what they're doing. They're able to do that. So, yeah, Toronto's got to figure out a way to get away from these guys, to outwork them, and maybe score off the rush. That might be an easier path than it would be, trying to go to the net, bang out rebounds, because those guys are going to be pretty tough to move out of the way if you're the Leafs. All right, let's look at Toronto's projected lineup for tonight's game. I don't envision there being any changes.
Unless Lon comes back potentially, but I don't know. I would say maybe not Lon come back. Maybe it'll be Blay and Domi.
Yeah,
Blay
true.
playing
Yeah,
wing and Domi on the at center there.
yeah. Could probably end up seeing Domi slide over, and then, or even Lorentz has played center at times this year, but that would be the only one. He's a game time decision right now. But possibly we don't see Scott Lawton. But Knies, Matthews, Nylander, I expect for those guys to remain together. Robertson, Tavares, and McMahon, last few games they've been probably the most productive team, especially defensively, the most productive trio out there. So they'll stick, and then Joshua Wah and Matthias Michelli as your third line. And defensively, Riley Carlo, Benoit McCabe, and then OEL and Philip Myers rounds out your defense. And I'd imagine Anthony Stolarz will get an opportunity to avenge himself against Boston as well.
Yeah, no, and I think again, like the forwards, I'm not worried about what the Leafs are going to be able to do offensively against Boston because they've proven that they can produce offensively.
Yep. They scored on the power play too, technically.
Yeah, are they going to be able to do a little bit more defensively, right? Help out your blue line that's clearly struggling big time.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the big one to watch. Are they going to be doing more of those things defensively to pitch in?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, looking at the NHL standings right now, or the stats, William Nylander, top 5 in league scoring right now. Second in the NHL in even strength points. Right behind him in third is John Tavares, and right behind him is Matthew Knies. So you got 3 Maple Leafs in the top 4 in even strength scoring, yet they're a 500 team, and none of them is named Austin Matthews. Kind of surprising, to be honest with you. Makes it feel like if he can get going on a very consistent basis, the Leafs should have a better chance to win some hockey games here coming up. All right, let's player to watch for tonight when it comes to the Boston Bruins. We're locked in on Morgan Geekie. I mean, the season he's having, he broke out last year with a 30-goal season, and he's improved those numbers to this point this year. 11 goals, 15 points for the Bees so far, averaging just under 18 minutes a game on the top line. And he scored the other night against Toronto. He continues to put pucks in the back of the net. Maple Leafs got to make sure that they know where Morgan Geekie is on the ice at all times. He's our locked-on player to watch from the Bruins.
Yeah, I mean, he's that player that's kind of stepped up. We talk a lot about, when you talk about the Bruins and their succession plans with a lot of the guys that have left over the years. Center ice was a big one with Bergeron, right? Like, who's going to take on that Bergeron role? I'm not suggesting that Morgan Geekie was going to be that player, but he's put himself into that role. And so I like a pretty decent pickup by the Bruins, to go and get him. I think he was a free agent signing for them.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. And it was kind of a slow start for him. He hadn't really kind of reached his potential really until now, because he went from having 17 goals 2 years ago to 33 last year, and now he's kind of taking his game to another level. Now, that's probably a lot to do with also opportunity. He's playing a more prominent role now. But yeah, I'd be curious to see if he's able to sustain what he's doing right now.
Our player to watch, lockdown player to watch for the Toronto Maple Leafs, we're taking a look at Matthew Knies, and he's played really well against the Boston Bruins. I mean, the numbers he's put up the last 10 games against Boston, he has 7 goals, 12 points, and is a plus 13. So lots of positives happening when Matthew Knies is on the ice here in this matchup. And if the Leafs are going to win this game, I think he's going to have to be a big part of it.
I think so, and he's starting to show a bit more of the flair offensively to his game.
Mhm.
I want to see a little bit more of that edginess to his game, the physicality, the speed, right, the push that we saw in the playoffs. But like,
The
it's
breakaway
hard,
speed.
right? But like, it's hard to not like what you've seen from from Matthew Knies so far this year. He's in the last against Carolina, he had a couple of points. Didn't have wasn't on the score sheet against Boston. There were opportunities for sure for him, but like he has 20
Mhm.
points in 16 games.
Yeah, man.
Uh, and again, a lot of it's 5-on-5, right? He only has 2 power play points. I think both of them are power play goals too. Like
Yeah, he's 4th in the league in 5-on-5 scoring.
this contract is going to continue to look good for this Leafs team for the next few years. But I do think we need to see him, big body. He's got to be more of a presence on the ice.
Yeah, picked up a couple really nice Matthew Knies cards at the Sports Card Expo over the weekend. So
I
I'm
probably
big
safe.
on Matty Knies.
I'm
Big.
safe. I think it's safe to assume he's probably the most popular Leaf
Yes,
forward, like
by
probably
far.
Leaf right now.
By far, based on, again, just like anecdotal evidence from being at the show, setting up, and who people are talking about, asking about, and like buying, Matthew Knies at the top of the list. No one was asking about Austin Matthews. No one to buy any Austin Matthews cards. No one cared to add any, William Nylander cards to their collection. Matthew Knies, lots of people looking to add some Matthew Knies cards to their collection. So, yeah, to me, I think he is, and it's because he's different, right? He's not the same type of breed as those guys. He is more of the fiery power forward, and I think we need to see the fire come out a little bit more here. We saw last year. Now he's not afraid to drop the mitts and throw down. He's not afraid to go out there and forecheck and lay the big hit and make sure that he lets his presence known on the ice. Like, hey, you're gonna feel this, when I'm out there on the ice. So, yeah, need to see a little bit more of that. But offensively, he's been exactly what you could have wanted, and if not more, to this point of the season. And they're going to need him tonight against Boston to get the dub. All right, keys to the game quickly here, Dave. What are the keys to the game here for the Toronto Maple Leafs to pull out the win?
Yeah, stop turning the puck over. Like I'm getting tired of it.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point where you're making more work for yourself by being careless with the puck. So, and Boston got easy goals from it, right? Lawrence with that side, the pass at the blue line going left instead of forward that gets picked off, ends up in the back of the net, right? Those plays are killers, and those plays have got to stop, right? So I think that's a big one there. The Bruins brought the physical play, and the Leafs didn't. I don't think they like Bob McMahon stepped up to Tavares, which is good. I wanted to see the Leafs push it back and give it back to Boston a little bit more in terms of that physicality, and I think they're totally capable of it, but they got to do more of it for sure.
Yeah, completely agree there. And look, defensively, like that's got to be the real calling card tonight. They got to make sure they lock in, lock down, and they allow Stolars, box out the crease, allow Stolars to see the puck, and make sure that they're out there going into the corners and win some puck battles, right? Like win some puck battles. That's the one difference between when they're winning games, when they're playing well. That third period against Pittsburgh, they started winning puck battles, and then they continued to have wave after wave of offensive success. And then, they're able to kind of kill plays quickly, one and dones defensively, because they would win the loose puck battle and get it up and get it out. Got to continue to do those types of things, right? If you get beat and they keep possession in the offensive zone, they wear you down. It ends up in the back of the net. Or you turn the puck over right away, it ends up at the back of the net. Like those are the key things, man. The Maple Leafs continue to shoot themselves in the foot. This has been a story really for like the last probably 6 years that the Maple Leafs continue to beat themselves.
Yep.
Like they're good when they're at the top of their game. This is a great team. They have so much talent, but they continue to shoot themselves in the foot, and it costs them time and time again. So if they play their way and they play with detail, they play with purpose, and they play simple, and they don't turn the puck over, they should have some success here tonight against the Boston Bruins. All right, we'll take one more break. When we come back, Dave, the Olympics are coming, and a few Maple Leafs are on the radars. We'll have that chat next in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by our new sponsors, DripDrop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, my energy, mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using DripDrop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power, no matter what my day looks like. DripDrop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. I like using DripDrop as part of my daily routine. I'll mix up a packet in the morning before I go during my day when I'm having a little midday slump. I'll have one at lunch. Hydration has become non-negotiable for me. DripDrop helps me feel sharper, calmer, and honestly, just better overall. Right now, DripDrop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to DripDrop.com and use the code LOCKEDONNHL. That's DripDrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard and keep your body and mind performing at the best with DripDrop. Welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano and David Morassutti with you. It's November 11th, and it's Remembrance Day here in Canada. So from Dave and I would like to thank everyone, for obviously thank everyone who fought for the country, the fallen soldiers, the ones who came back home, and for everyone who continues to fight for freedom here in Canada, and fight for free world all around the world. So we do appreciate it. Dave, if you have a message that you want to send out, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, look, we always remember those who put their lives on the line for us.
Yeah.
We're fortunate that we're not dealing with what those people had to deal with back in the day, and it's those sacrifices that made that possible. So yeah, I'm glad that also if you're one of those people and that with the poppies that are saying I'm always losing the poppies,
That's
the
me.
Legion are now selling those pins. This is a pin that's holding it in.
Oh, see, I got the
good old, you got that the old
poker.
the
Pokes
poker.
me every time I put it in. Pokes me a little jab.
This has the backing to it. They sold it $2. I'm like, yeah,
nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I spend probably $10 every year. We're having to buy new ones all the time.
Yeah,
when you wear these.
Going to good causes. So make sure you pick up, get your poppies. Make sure you're showing the support. It means a lot. And also, after Remembrance Day, you don't have to wear the poppy anymore.
Yeah, I mean you can.
You can. It's not. It's just you're supposed to. I was told now you're supposed to actually lay it at the gravesite or like at a like.
Oh, really?
Remembrance. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Interesting. Okay. All right. Cool.
Every time.
Yeah. So that's a tough transition, I guess, from Remembrance Day to hockey. But fighting for our country to representing our country at the Olympics in Milano. Both I think I heard the Americans, but definitely the Canadian general managers of the Canadian Olympic hockey team held internal meetings today in Toronto. And Doug Armstrong had told Pierre LeBrun, Hockey Insider, that they're down to about 35 to 40 names for Team Canada. I think they're allowed 28, I think, to the Olympic team, to the Canadian Olympic team. It was a few more spots that they're allowed than it was with the Four Nations. So I think it's 25 or 28 spots that they can name. So they're down to 35 to 40 names. So I guess we'll call it 40 names. Do you think John Tavares is among those 40 finalists that they're kind of deciding between at this point?
I think so. Like, here's the thing. You can't just also look at NHL production. You look at, did they ever play for Canada in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
John Tavares, any chance he's had when the Leafs were eliminated from the playoffs, he went and he played for Team Canada at the World Championships. Those experiences play a factor in a lot of these, in these decisions. And I'm hoping they're just going to give him at least an opportunity to look into it, to give him the opportunity, because he's never had his Olympic moment. Like he didn't, like if you remember in 2014, he got hurt, and he didn't even get to finish the tournament, right? And you asked the Islanders how they felt about that, but like you look at the way he's playing. He's playing a lot better now than some people are saying he's playing better now than he's played, in the last few years, right? When, I think he should be in the mix. I know there's a lot of here's the thing. Canada is so stacked. There are going everywhere except goaltending. Somebody is going to be disappointed. And that's just the way it's going to be. But I think he should be among these players that are like the 30. Yeah, you said the 30 to 40 players. I think I heard that they're kind of cutting down to like 9-hour meeting. A 9-hour meeting. Imagine being in that meeting for 9 hours.
Yeah, talking about like having to decide like Celebrini or Mark Scheifele. Like who should we take, right? Like Tavares or Seth Jarvis. Like it's such a difficult decision, obviously. But hey, I think that he's got a chance. Like I don't think anyone expected him to perform the way that he has to this point. Like I think a lot of people expected that last year was maybe a bit of a mirage, and that this year he'd probably come back down to earth a little bit. Not that the wheels were gonna fall off, but that there was gonna be some regression from a season ago. But hasn't been the case to this point. 21 points this season, which is fantastic. 9 goals. He's top 10 in league scoring, at 21 points. So I think he's put himself in that conversation. The leadership abilities that he could bring as well, the versatility, he can obviously play on the wing. That's the thing too. Like you have to remember, he doesn't just have to play center. So it's not as though like down the middle, they're probably set with McDavid, McKinnon, Cirelli. Maybe they put Suzuki as your 4th line center. It doesn't mean that because they're set at center that he can't make the team as a winger. Like that happens all the time. Like Crosby's probably going to play the wing, right? He's been on the wing now for the last or was for the Four Nations, so he probably will be. Macklin Celebrini is another name that's really entered the mix here. He's a centerman, but he could play the wing. So that's where it gets even more difficult. But yeah, I think he's got a shot. I don't know if he makes it ultimately. I don't know if he makes the team. It's such a talented roster. Like, and now with these like this youth invasion, Dave, like now you're looking at not only Macklin Celebrini, but even Connor Bedard has arrived and is making his mark. And it'd be very difficult to leave Bedard off the lineup, off the roster if he continues to score the way that he's been doing this season. So yeah, it's going to be an extremely, extremely hard decision for Doug Armstrong and this staff. But I think he's in the mix. I think he's among one of the 40 that they discussed today. I do believe that.
Yeah, like there's so many players that even to be among the finalists, I know it would suck to hear this, but to be among the finalists should also be an honor too. Like to be in that mix, I think it should be an honor for a lot of these players.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also competitors. They're like, I want to be the guy that's out there. I'm sure it will hurt for some of these players to watch this tournament thinking I could be there right now. Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, we're going to, like we did it when the Four Nations happened. We're going to have our conversations. We're going to have our debates about whether this person should have made it, this person should have made it. I'm still going to be stuck on the goaltending because that's just, man.
I can tell you one thing, Montembeault not making it this year. There's going to be a change in goal. Like Montembeault, there's no way.
If Aiden Hill's still hurt, like he's hurt right now. He might not even be in the mix either. So we might get 2 new goalie options. And there's guys who I think are deserving of being in that conversation.
Yeah, Logan Thompson, Mackenzie Blackwood,
Darcy Kemper.
Darcy Kemper is, an option there. Like there's a lot of guys who you could possibly, I mean, I don't know if you want to put Tristan Jarry in there, but at one point it was like, hey, maybe he could be in the mix. But
then the Leafs are like, we're going to hang like 5 goals on you in a period.
Yeah. So I don't know. What about Matthew Knies? Do you think Matthew Knies is, if they were to announce the roster today, do you think Knies would be among their forward groupings? Knies
He should be. Like again, the U.S.
USA, by the way, we're referring. I know you know that, but for those who Knies
many, I do think that there's gonna be. I think he'll be in the conversation for sure. But there's gonna again, even the U.S. have had some really tough competition, like Cole Caulfield. He's gonna have to be a lock. The guy is didn't. I don't even. He's having an unreal season right now. I think the US could bring in some younger guys. I mean, they did have some, but I feel like they should be leaning on some of these up and comers. Knies, Caulfield. Trying to think who else would have been left off the list.
In terms of young guys, I like
Lane Hudson wasn't there.
Yeah, Lane wasn't there. The interesting one will be like guys like Patrick Kane, right? Who wasn't on Four Nations. Do they have the balls to leave him off the Olympic roster as well? Like they're a deep team too. Like Tage Thompson. Does he make the team? I mean, he's a goal scorer. He's a big body. He can play the wing. He could play down the middle, obviously. Is Matthew Tkachuk healthy by then? Should he be healthy? Brady Tkachuk, same thing. So I guess those guys, you've got some questions, I suppose. Although I think the Tkachuks are both named to the team already, like when they announced the six. But if they're hurt, obviously a different story.
Yeah, both of them are already named to the preliminary.
But if they're hurt, they got to replace them.
Yes,
with someone. So,
like Clayton Keller. Does Clayton
right
Keller
there?
Right,
dude, Clayton Keller's he's good, dude. And Utah's winning. They're scoring. Like, let's see, he's got 15 points. Like, yeah, I think Keller's in the mix for sure. I think Keller's in the mix. Yeah. I think Knies is like one of the guys like right on the bubble.
I think guys like Kreider, Nelson, Trocheck, I don't think they're gonna make the cut. I think there's guys.
Knies or Boldy. Who makes the team for you? Knies or Boldy? I think Knies, no? Be Knies?
I think Knies, because like Boldy's had some inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good year last year. Like Boldy had over 73 points last year.
Yeah.
And like both him and Knies are point per. I mean, Matt and Knies is just above a point per game. They might both make it. I can see the case.
The reason why I think they're the same. Like they play very similarly to each other. They're the same type, kind of style, same build. So it's like if you're bringing certain players, like do you need both of them, or is it going to be a one or the other type of thing where it's like Clayton Keller's more of a playmaker, so he might get the nod there, but then it's Boldy versus Knies. It's like, do we really want?
That's a tough debate for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not sitting there for 9 hours debating. They're not talking politics. Like they might be, but hockey politics for sure at the very least. But yeah, we could see Matthew Knies at the Olympics. We know Matthews is going to be there. Nylander's going to be there for sure. Tavares and Knies, I guess those guys will kind of be on the roster bubble. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. OEL will probably make it for Sweden, I would think. Is there anyone else who's really in the mix there? I mean, Michelli. Where's Michelli from? I'm trying to think where he's from, Finland. Like Czechia or something, Finland. One of those European teams. So he could be in the mix.
He might even be qualified for the Italian team if he's got Italian roots. Because his great grandfather on his mom's side is Italian, so if he's got citizenship, go play for Italy.
I think you had to play at least 2 years in Italy in order to be eligible to play for the country team. Because I asked Corrado about that before, and I believe he told me that. So I think until he decided to call it quits, I think his plan was to go to Italy for his last couple of years, play out 2 seasons, and then maybe
the horror of playing 2 years in Italy, especially if you go to like a team like Como.
I know. He's a superstar on TSN now, so he just decided to jump into the media instead, get going on on the post career. But yeah, so there's gonna be some Leaf flair. We know it. It's coming quick, dude. Like we're already almost into mid-November.
Yeah, people were talking to me about it. I'm like, I haven't thought about the Olympics.
I know.
And I'm like, yeah, we're a couple months away.
They're naming the team in what, like 7 weeks?
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
I already know people
6, 7
people
weeks.
at work. Maro, che fai? I'm gonna bring my Italian nature to this.
Hey now.
I was thinking about going to the Olympics. I was gonna see if I could stay with my cousin in Milan and go.
Ooh, that'd be awesome. Try and get some creds, cover it, or you just want to go as a fan?
I wouldn't mind working in Olympics.
Yeah, be cool. Get into the mix zone, see what that's all about. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like a journalist, like it's like a Super Bowl for a journalist to cover
Yeah.
the Olympics, right? Like that's the
We
Stanley
haven't
Cup
had that
final.
opportunity either. I've worked in Olympics for CBC, but I've never actually been to the Olympics because you couldn't even go the last couple because of COVID.
Yeah, you're right. All right, buddy. We'll wrap it up. Game tonight against Boston. Hopefully the Leafs can bring their A game, play a little more piss and vinegar, play with some physicality, and defend a little more. That's ultimately it. That's what they need to do to have success tonight. That'll do it for us today on the podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti. And follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. We'll be back with another episode for you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the game tonight. Go Leafs, go. Until then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.